Welcome everybody to look at a new Vinegar Syndrome 4K release, and it is 1965's Dr. Terror's House of Horrors. So this is directed by Freddie Francis, who did numerous horror films in the 60s and 70s in Britain. I've seen 9 of his other films, and they're the likes of from the Crypt, Torture Garden, and Paranoiac. And this is an anthology horror film, just like Torture Garden and Tales from the Crypts from Freddie Francis, although this is the first of his horror anthologies that he did. And yeah, this clock's in at 98 minutes long, stars the likes of Peter Cushing, who I've seen in 42 other films. Recent favourites from him would be the likes of At the Earth's Core, The Uncanny, Time Without Pity, and Twins of Evil. Also stars Christopher Lee, who I've also seen in 42 other films. Other recent favourites from him are the likes of Rasputin, The Mad Monk, Taste of Fear, and The Devil Rides Out. And finally, also co-stars the likes of Donald Sutherland, Neil McCallum, Bernard Lee, and Roy Castle. So this is about 5 strangers who board a train and are joined by a mysterious fortune teller who offers to read their tarot cards. 5 separate stories unfold. An architect returns to his ancestral home to find a werewolf out for revenge. A doctor discovers his new wife is a vampire. A huge plant takes over a house. A musician gets involved with voodoo, and an art critic is pursued by a disembodied hand. So, yeah, this is the first ever horror anthology from Amicus Productions, who went on to produce at least nearly 2 dozen films, I think thereabouts, in the 60s and 70s, several of which were horror anthology films. And for such a film to have 5 stories plus a solid framework crammed into a runtime of fewer than 100 minutes, to have only one of those 5 stories not really work for me shows how much talent was involved on camera and behind it. The cast is really good. It has great cinematography by Alan Hume. It is well paced. The majority of the stories are interesting. Only one that isn't particularly interesting is the voodoo one. It doesn't really have a satisfactory ending to it for me, as far as I'm concerned. I like the framework that is necessary for the stories to be told. It is engrossing throughout, and the ending is suitably macabre. So yeah, overall a fantastic release, and yeah, it's a film I already had on Blu-ray. It came out a while back, but to have it on 4K means that yeah, we now have the ultimate version of this film as far as physical presentations go, in terms of the way the film looks, but also in terms of this, you know, little bit of a set that's got going on. So yeah, I really like the slipcover that is on this. Don't know if you can see it, but the skull's eyes are a little bit, shiny to give off an eerie presence. But in fact, I actually prefer the rear end of this a little bit more, which has Peter Cushing as the fortune teller with the tarot cards on the bottom there, and then the one that is always drawn fifth and last, the card of death. So yeah, and then they've got the train that they're on as well and everything. I think that's actually a better bit of artwork than the one at the front, which I still like, especially since it shows off the main cast. But that one is just so much cooler, and I'd love that as a poster, to be honest. But yeah, also get it on Blu-ray. So if you haven't had it on Blu-ray already, then you do get it on Blu-ray here. But yeah, the 4K disc is obviously the main draw with this one. No, no booklet or poster with this, though, unfortunately, which would have been nice. We do get reverse artwork though, with the reverse artwork on the slipcover, so I will be actually swapping it around, because, like I said, I do prefer this one to that one. And on the disc itself, we've got a 4K UHD disc presentation of the film, which is presented in HDR and newly restored from its 35mm original camera negative with the following sound options. So you got the original English mono soundtrack with an optional English SDH subtitle. Sorry, I misread that then. And an audio commentary with the director Freddie Francis and moderator Jonathan Southcott. Then you also got included is on the Blu-ray disc, contains everything on the UHD disc plus the following special features. A New Home of Horror, 15 minutes, a featurette including never before seen interviews with actress Katie Wilde, second assistant director Hugh Harlow, prop man Arthur Wicks, continuity supervisor Pauline Harlow, and dubbing mixer John Aldred. Then you got Tales of Terror, clocking in at 39 minutes long, which has author Stephen Thrower on Wicks, continually supervised, no, Thrower on Dr. Terror's House of Horrors. Then you got House of Cards clocking in at 58 minutes, they're getting longer. An archival making of documentary. Then you got archival video interviews with actor Kenny Lynch clocking in at 25 minutes long. Actress Anne Bell clocking in at 21 minutes long. And actor Jeremy Kemp clocking in at 8 minutes long. Then you got archival audio interviews with writer-producer Milton Stabowski, which is clocking at 12 minutes long, and producer Max Rosenberg, which is 2 minutes long. Also got the English trailer, the German trailer, Italian trailer, and 2 extensive promotional image galleries. So that's a whole heap of extras on this disc. You're looking at a good 2 hours, 2.5 hours there of physical of extras on the disc. So then never mind, the film itself, which you can obviously watch without the audio commentary, and then you can watch it with the audio commentary. So again, that's technically another hour 40 of content. So yeah, that's a really rather impressive amount of extras on the disc. I just wish there was that amount of impressive extras in terms of physical aspects. I would have liked a booklet or a poster or some art cards to go with the really rather nice slipcover and the new artwork that it's got going on. But regardless, yeah, it's at the end of the day about the film itself, and the film itself is really, really rather good. It's a really rather superb start to Amicus Productions anthology horror films, which, like I said, they did several of. This is probably my favourite of them, although Tales from the Crypt is pretty good, and so is Torture Garden, both of which I also recommend, including this one. So yeah, 4 stars out of 5 from me, and yeah, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it, because yeah, this is a really rather great film. It looks even better now because it's in 4K, and yeah, it's well worth watching if you're into your anthology horror films, especially ones that, like I said, most of the stories are great. It's only the one that isn't. So yeah, 4 out of 5 isn't bad at all. And at the end of the day, you still have the cast to back it up, and the cinematography and the score and all of that lot to go along with it. So even if the story is weak, you still have other elements about it to enjoy. Nonetheless, so if you have seen this film before, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.